Hey everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to do a deep dive into the Université de Montreal.
Ooh la la.
Yeah, UdeM. And we've got this page all about, their careers and employment opportunities. Thought it'd be fun to kind of peek behind the curtain, even if we're not,
Okay.
actually on the job hunt right now.
Right, like what can we learn about what they value from how they're trying to attract talent?
Exactly.
Hmm.
And right off the bat, they highlight their location, which makes sense. I mean, they're smack dab in the middle of Montreal.
Yeah, that's definitely a selling point. Montreal's got that whole buzz, festivals, food scene, that French Canadian flair.
Oh yeah, I've heard amazing things about the food there.
Oh.
But beyond location, the source really emphasizes UDM's dedication to research,
Mm-hmm.
like over 60 departments and 71 doctoral programs.
Whoa, that's a lot of brain power.
It's serious commitment to knowledge creation, right?
It is, and that's where that public research university label really comes into play. They get that government funding which shapes everything, the opportunities for students, the type of faculty they can attract.
So it's not just about teaching, it's about pushing the boundaries of what we know.
Exactly. Cutting edge labs, potential industry collaborations, constantly generating new ideas. It creates a very specific kind of environment.
And a very large one, apparently.
Yeah.
Over 650 programs at the undergrad and grad level. But hold on, there's more. They've got these two affiliated schools, too.
Oh, right. Polytechnique Montreal and HEC Montreal.
Yeah, for engineering and business. It's like a university within a university.
It is fascinating how those specialized schools fit into the bigger UdeM ecosystem. Like, I wonder how much crossover there is. Do engineering students at Polytechnique ever collaborate with researchers in UdeM science departments?
That's a great question. I mean, having those connections all in one institution.
Right. Could lead to some cool interdisciplinary stuff.
Totally. And then zooming out even further, having those strong engineering and business schools linked to a research powerhouse like UdeM.
Must be huge for Montreal's economy. Like a pipeline of highly skilled grads ready to contribute.
Makes you wonder if that was intentional, right?
Yeah.
Part of some master plan.
Maybe. Or maybe it's just a happy accident. But either way, it's working out pretty well for them.
Okay, but here's something that jumped out at me in the source. The notable alumni section. And guess who they lead with?
Let me guess. Another politician.
Justin Trudeau. A prime minister on their alumni list? Got to give him credit. That's an attention grabber.
Definitely makes you wonder what they're putting in the water over there.
Right. But it makes me think, beyond just politics, what is it about UDEM that seems to cultivate leaders in so many different fields? What's their secret sauce?
Well, I mean, a diverse range of successful alumni like that suggests they're doing something right, but we got to remember those alumni networks are about way more than just the famous names.
Go for sure.
It's that web of connections and support that can actually benefit current students and faculty in tons of ways.
Right. Mentorship, opening doors, all of that.
Exactly. And it's not just politicians on the list either.
Yeah, they've got Louise Arbour. She's huge in human rights. Then there's Leah Poole, the filmmaker.
Ah, yes. And Pierre Carl Pelado from the business world.
It's like they've got successful grads in every corner of society. So it's not just about churning out politicians. They're producing all kinds of leaders.
Which brings us back to something the source mentioned. UDEM's focus on diversity and inclusion. Now, a lot of institutions talk about that, but having such a diverse alumni base like this, it kind of suggests they're walking the walk.
Yeah, it's not just lip service. You see graduates from all these different backgrounds succeeding in their fields.
Makes you think that inclusive environment they're striving for might actually be taking root.
So speaking of attracting talented individuals, the source lays out like 5 key reasons why someone might choose UDEM.
Okay, hit me with them.
So we got stimulating environment, leading edge research, obviously being in Montreal is a plus. But the two that really stand out to me are global network and that whole cultural hub thing.
Interesting choices. Why those two?
Well, I mean, a global network, that sounds like access to opportunities all over the world. And who wouldn't want to live and work in a city as vibrant as Montreal? What are your thoughts? Which of these selling points, if any, would really appeal to you, and why?
It's hard to choose just one. Like, they all sound pretty good.
Right.
But I've got to say, that global network thing is really intriguing. Like, a university's international connections, their partnerships and collaborations, that could open up some major doors for students and researchers.
For sure. Imagine the projects, exchange programs, conferences.
Yeah.
All over the world.
Exactly. It's not just about what you learn in class. It's that broader network of knowledge and experience.
Totally. It's like your degree becomes this passport to a whole global community. And speaking of passports, we can't forget about that whole cultural hub thing. I mean, who wouldn't want to spend time in a city known for its vibrancy and festivals and, that amazing food scene?
You've hit on something important there. It's about finding that balance
Hmm.
between hitting the books and actually enjoying life. And Montreal seems like the perfect place for that.
Right.
But what I'm curious about is how does UdeM specifically foster that balance? What kind of support or opportunities do they offer to help students thrive both academically and personally?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm picturing support groups for international students,
Mm.
maybe mentorship programs,
Right.
even just spaces on campus designed for relaxation and connection.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
can't just be about attracting talent. It's about helping them flourish once they get there.
Totally agree. Though don't forget, this source we're looking at is specifically about careers at UdeM.
Mhm.
So what does that tell us? Beyond the academic stuff, what's their approach to, employment?
I think it tells us that UdeM isn't just this ivory tower. They're actively engaging with the world beyond academia.
No.
Like the fact that they have a dedicated career portal, they're out there recruiting.
Mhm.
It suggests they're looking for people who can bridge the gap between research and real-world application.
So it's not just about publishing papers, it's about making a tangible impact.
Exactly. And that impact can take many forms.
Yeah.
Think about it. Collaborations with industry, spin-off companies based on UdeM research, or even just graduates going out there into different professions with those critical thinking skills and a thirst for knowledge.
So it's like they're saying, come here, learn, and then go make a difference.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. But how does UdeM stack up against other universities globally, particularly when it comes to research? Like, are they really pushing boundaries and attracting top-tier talent? Because Montreal is great and all,
Yeah.
but I also want to be at an institution that's, respected worldwide.
Well, UdeM consistently ranks among the top universities in Canada.
Oh.
And they hold a very respectable position globally, especially in fields like medicine, artificial intelligence, and sustainability research. They've attracted some very well-regarded faculty and pulled in significant research funding. So it seems like they're serious about pushing the envelope.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
But what about someone who's not necessarily, a research superstar? What kind of opportunities are there at UdeM for people looking for administrative or support staff roles?
Right.
Because a university needs a whole ecosystem to function, right? Not just professors and researchers.
You're totally right. A university is a complex organism.
Yeah.
You need people in all sorts of roles: librarians, IT specialists, finance manager.
Marketing coordinators.
Exactly. The list goes on and on. And actually, the source specifically mentioned a commitment to transparency and equitable hiring. So it seems like they're trying to create a fair and inclusive workplace for everyone.
So not just the academic rock stars, but everyone who keeps the university running.
Right. Everyone plays a role.
So potentially there's a place for everyone at UdeM, regardless of their background or aspirations. That's a pretty positive picture they're painting. But, let's play devil's advocate for a second.
Right.
Are there any potential downsides or challenges someone might encounter at UdeM? Because no place is perfect, right?
Well, one potential challenge could be the language barrier.
Oh, right.
UdeM is a French language institution, and while Montreal is a bilingual city, fluency in French is often a requirement for a lot of positions.
Right, especially in academia.
Exactly. So that could be a hurdle for some international applicants or people who aren't comfortable working in French.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's easy to forget about that when we're focused on, all the positives. And even if you are fluent working in a second language, that can add a whole other layer of, complexity to your day-to-day life. Are there resources, at UdeM to help with that?
It would make sense for them to offer language classes or support groups, especially for newcomers. And I'd imagine Montreal itself probably has a ton of resources for people looking to improve their French. I mean, it's in their best interest to make sure people can integrate, both linguistically and culturally.
Totally. And let's be real, any large institution like a university, it's going to have its own bureaucracy, internal politics, things like that. I'm curious, from your perspective, are there any specific challenges or quirks that stand out about UdeM? Anything potential students or employees should keep in mind?
Well, based on what we've seen in this source,
Yeah.
UdeM seems to be genuinely trying to be transparent and equitable.
Mhm.
But of course, every institution has its blind spots, right?
Yeah.
So it's always a good idea to do your research,
Right.
talk to current or former students and employees.
Due diligence.
Exactly. Get a feel for the culture beyond, the brochures and the websites.
That's good advice for anyone considering a move to a new institution, whether for school or work.
Definitely.
It's all about finding the right fit.
Absolutely. And recognizing that no place is perfect. There will always be trade-offs and challenges. The key is going in with open eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Be prepared to adapt and learn as you go.
So true. Well, to wrap things up, it sounds like UdeM offers a pretty amazing package for the right person.
Mm-hmm.
Academic prestige, research opportunities, those global connections we talked about,
Right.
and of course that undeniable Montreal charm. But like with any big decision, you got to weigh the pros and cons.
Couldn't agree more. Hopefully our little deep dive today gave you some food for thought
Yeah.
and a better understanding of what UDEM is all about. Ultimately, the decision of whether it's the right fit for you, that's a personal one.
It is, but here's a final thought to ponder as you go about your day.
Hmm.
If you were looking for a new academic adventure,
Hmm.
would a UdeM make your short list? What criteria would be at the top of your list? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, keep the conversation going.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into UdeM. Till next time.